Welcome to Judaism, the series, dear viewers. You need to do a mitzvah every single day. What is that extra mitzvah, the extra good deed? That's Pidyon Shvuim, the freeing of captives. Whom do we have in mind? Jonathan Pollard, who is in a parole 5-year total limited movement, restricted to a small studio apartment in Manhattan after spending 30 years behind bars. And what was the crime of Jonathan Pollard? This is when he went into jail. This is how he appeared, dear viewers. And when he exited the inferno of jails. Take a good look. Yep. This is what both the Democrat rats, and the Republicans did to Jonathan Pollard, the Jewish American hero. What was his crime, dear viewers? It was the crime of the century that Jonathan Pollard committed. He saved the lives of Jewish babies, infants, children, women, and men from being slaughtered by the Arab Muslim two-legged mule predator homicide Islamo-fascist terrorists. Jonathan Pollard saved Jewish lives by giving to our ally Israel classified data from the Pentagon, pinpointing the exact locations of all the terrorist bases throughout the Middle East. It's an outrage that after 30 years he has to still be incarcerated, although with so many freedoms, but he is shackled by bracelets monitoring his every moment, his every move, and he cannot leave during Sabbath for Sabbath and holiday services in a congregation. He's deprived of employment because the parole board, made up primarily of uncircumcised pagan Gentiles and females of the Gentile persuasion, seem fit to be anti-Semitic. All that Jonathan Pollard is asking is to be able to leave to the land of our God-given land of Israel. I'm going to give you the numbers where you can reach immediately to have Jonathan Pollard pardoned. You're going to call from 10 a.m. up until 2 p.m. weekly, daily every week. Gather your writing paraphernalia. And I'm going to give you the phone number. You're going to state that you're a registered voter and that you're asking that the President of the United States of America pardon Jonathan Pollard immediately. His sentence should be vacated so that he can go on to live in the land of our fathers, in our religious, historical, and national land, Israel. The number is, and write it down, 202-456-1414, 202-456-1414, 202-456-1414. Call daily between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. In addition, you're going to reach all members of both houses. You're going to obtain the phone number, the fax number, and the email at the switchboard in the house on Capitol Hill. You're going to ask each one of them that they should nudge the President of the United States to pardon and vacate the parole of Jewish American hero Jonathan Pollard, spelled P-O-L-L-A-R-D. P-O-L-L-A-R-D. Last but not least, you're going to contact the President of Israel that he should nudge the President of the US of A to pardon Jewish American hero Jonathan Pollard. Dear viewers, as you know, in the past we've had documentaries, and we shall again, about our holy city of Hebron, where the founding fathers and matriarchs of Judaism are interned, with the exception of Mother Rachel, Rachel Imenu, who was interned in Hebrew Bethlehem, and from there they have the English translation of Bethlehem. Jewish history begins in Hebron, dear viewers. That's where the tomb of the patriarchs and matriarchs are. The patriarch Abraham, who is the first Jewish person, the founder of Judaism, chose Hebron as the first place of settlement. You heard me, settlement in the land of Israel. The anti-Semitic State Department just cannot stomach neither the Jews nor Judaism nor the Jewish state. It's the time, high time, let it be high noon, that the present administration clean out, cleanse, ethnic cleansing of the Gentile anti-Semites, of the State Department and their Jewish collaborators. Indeed. Hebron, it was here that Abraham purchased the first legacy, the Ma'arat HaMachpelah, the cave of the Machpelah, the cave of the tombs, where the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the matriarchs Sarah, Rebecca, and Leah are buried. Throughout all generations, dear viewers, Jews have referred to Hebron as the city of the patriarchs, Ir Avot. During the biblical era, Hebron was King David's first capital, 3,000 years ago, where he reigned during the first 7 years of his kingdom before proceeding to Jerusalem and making it the capital of the Jewish people forever and ever and ever. Remnants of the city from biblical times, the days of the patriarchs and the kingdom of Israel, were uncovered in archaeological excavations at Tel Ramada, the ancient Tel Hebron. During the first and second temple periods, the 10th to the 1st centuries of the Common Era, Hebron was one of the major Jewish cities in the land of Israel. After the destruction of the second temple, the Hebron Hills were a center of Jewish revolt against the Romans. There are no more Romans, but we persist. And we are here today, and we will be here forever and ever and ever. Here, Bar Kokhba's soldiers fought valiantly against the Roman conqueror, but were ultimately defeated and routed. For centuries, under Byzantine, Crusader, Mamluk rule, Jews lived in Hebron and even prayed at the cave of the Machpelah, the tomb of the patriarchs. During the Mamluk era, the 13th century, Jews were prohibited from entering the building and were restricted to the 7th step leading to the eastern entrance. Although banned from the tomb of the patriarchs of the Jewish people for about 700 years, Jews continued coming to Hebron throughout history, offering their fervent prayers at the 7th step. The Jewish quarter. During the 16th century, Jews exiled from Spain came to Hebron, purchased large tracts of land in the city center, and established a kind of ghetto known as the Jewish Quarter. Here, Jews lived for some 450 years. Not loud enough for you? The shkutzim and the shikses of the State Department, Yamach Shemam. 450 years of Jewish presence in our holy city of Hebron. Do you get that? Anti-Semitic State Department? They're enjoying a full and rich community life with synagogues, yeshivas, schools, public institutions, charitable associations, as well as shops, factories, and other facilities. You hear that? Anti-Semitic State Department? Those missiles in 9/11 should never have reached the Pentagon. It should have reached the State Department. The focus of the Jewish Quarter was the Avraham Avinu Synagogue, our father Abraham's synagogue. According to legend, one Yom Kippur Eve, worshippers found that they were one man short of a minyan. Then the patriarch Abraham, Avraham Avinu, the founding father of Judaism, himself visited the synagogue so that services can be held. This was one of the most beautiful and renowned synagogues in the land of Israel. Jews from all over the world contributed Torah scrolls. They contributed Torah scrolls and crowns on top of the Torah scroll, the Bible, oil lamps, and brilliantly crafted Torah ark curtains. The ark where the Torah scrolls were kept. Many noted rabbis and Torah scholars lived in the Jewish Quarter of Hebron, including Rabbi Shlomo Adani, author of the Melechet Shlomo, Rabbi Eliyahu di Vidash, Reshit HaChochma, Rabbi Avraham Azulai, the Chesed LaAvraham, his grandson, Rabbi Chaim Yosef David Azulai. Known as the Chida, and others, veteran Sephardic families, such as the Castells, the Begayos, the Hassans, the Francos, the Manis, the Abualafis, the Gozlans, the Abu Shadidis, the Arhas, and others produced numerous religious and community leaders in the city of Hebron. During the 17th and 18th centuries, the Jewish Quarter was built very densely. The community grew, and the Jews avoided moving outside the neighborhood for the reasons of security. Consequently, houses of several stories were built until the buildings reached 4 or 5 stories, with narrow alleys between them. Sources from that period describe the Jewish Quarter as follows. Inside, quote, there are courtyards and houses of an amazing construction style in which few support the many, doubled and tripled. Rabbi A.M. Lund's Chibat Yerushalayim. When a family is added, they added a courtyard on a rooftop. One courtyard on top of another. One story on top of another, filling them with children. Happy is he whose home is among the upper ones, for he enjoys the sunlight and the fresh air, and woe betide he whose home is among the lower ones, who has never seen a ray of light in his life. Odet Avisar Sefer Hebron. This is historical records of the Jews of Hebron. Despite the crowding, all accounts report that cleanliness and order prevailed in the Jewish Quarter of Hebron, where the alleys were washed down weekly and whitewashed periodically. Hospitality was also commended by the travelers and visitors. Despite the poverty, every guest who came to Hebron received several days' hospitality at the community's expense. Besides its renowned Sephardic institutions, the Jewish quarter in Hebron were also the home to Chabad, Lubavitcher Hasidim, who came to Hebron at the behest of their Rebbe, Rabbi Dov Ber, the Mittler Rebbe, In the early 18th century, the Rebbe even purchased a room near the Avraham Avinu synagogue, the Abraham Avinu synagogue, our father, our patriarch Abraham, and established his own synagogue there. Later, many Chabad Hasidim Lubavitchers came to Hebron, including Rabbanit Menucha Rachel of the Mittler Rebbe, with her husband Rabbi Yaakov Slonim and their family. She was an outstanding personality, was well known for her intelligence and benevolence. Chabad Hasidim constituted a majority of the Ashkenazic community in Hebron, of the European descent of Jews who came to Hebron in the Middle Ages. Key Chabad families included the Slonims, the Schmerlings, and the Rivlins. Dear viewers, we are going to show now a shortened version of the documentary on Hebron. And remember, dear viewers, free Jewish American hero Jonathan Pollard.
The patriarch Abraham purchased the 19th century, there are many yeshivot, schools, and kindergartens. Financial institutions are established, including a branch. Students flock from Europe, America, and all over the land of Israel. The sounds of Torah fill the air of Hebron. With the inception of the British Metro, the olive tree is still anchored. Then come the riots of summer 1929, and the tree is suddenly severed. The Mufti Amin al-Husseini, a Nazi sympathizer, incites toward murder of the Jews. Israel. Jews tortured. Synagogues are destroyed. Yeshivas set ablaze. But the olive tree of Hebron gains strength. New branches grow, heralding return. The Six-Day War, we return to Hebron. No longer restricted to the seventh step, the Jewish people enter the cave of Machpelah. Pesach, 1968, a group of checks in at the Park Hotel in Hebron and remains there by military complex. Hundreds of thousands of people flock to Hebron each year to visit the graves of Abraham and Sarah, Jacob and Leah. The Jewish spirit, the Jewish soul unites us and binds us to our ancestors who repose in Hebron. Hebron's residents with heroism, the right to settle at Beit Hadassah. They continue to strike roots in the city of the patriarchs and matriarchs, a constant struggle for every building and every home. Grow up at Beit Hadassah, Beit Hasson, Beit Schneerson, and Tel Romeda, site of ancient Hebron. They derive so much strength, vitality, and joy of living from these small courtyards. Children of all ages play together here. It's a delight to see, a true asset of our lives. Many benefits that they would not have anywhere else. The Avraham Avinu Synagogue was razed in 1929 riots. The site was used as a goat pen and a refuse dump until we returned to Hebron. It has since been rebuilt and refurbished and now stands at the heart of the Avraham Avinu neighborhood. There's a special atmosphere in this synagogue, a spirit of sanctity. You can sense the bond between the patriarch Abraham and this city. It's a feeling of reciprocal love and awe. Avraham Zerbiv, the scribe, lives in the Avraham Avinu neighborhood. In France, he belonged to Bnei Akiva. He came to Israel in its Hachshara program, studied Torah, and moved to Hebron. 2 years ago, he was severely injured when attacked in the Kasbah of Hebron. He has since recovered, thank God, and continues to raise his children here in Hebron. Ami Deri, also a Hebron resident, is a building contractor. Nearly all his employees are Jews. Ami is now nearing completion of a two-story building, providing premises for a daycare center as well as apartments for families. The Jewish Community Council in Hebron has assumed financial responsibility for these projects. When we lived in Ra'anana, and I called my wife from the clinic, I'd be sitting with her and the children at dinner within 20 minutes. Today, when I tell her I'm on my way, she knows it's a 2-hour trip. I travel almost 200 miles back and forth each day. I do it happily and willingly, because I realize how fortunate we are to be living in this sacred city of Hebron. The children of Hebron are the young branches of the deeply rooted olive tree. When we look at them, we realize where we came from and where we are headed. Despite all the hardships of the past few years, Hebron is building, welcoming new residents, and raising children, lots of children. Together with build a common future with the state of Israel and the Jewish people. The olive tree symbolizing Hebron is now sprouting new young leaves, yielding fruit. We face the future with hope and anticipation. The Hebron Municipal Council is now planning Sukkot events. This energetic group leads the public struggle and organizes all mass gatherings in Hebron. Over 250,000 people come to the Cave of Machpelah and Hebron annually for prayers, celebrations, and identification with the Jewish people and their forebears who lie buried here. Residents of Hebron look to the future in faith and hope. New neighborhoods are planned on Jewish land throughout Hebron. Construction is already underway. 10 new homes will be built in the Avraham Avinu neighborhood. Jews from Israel, Antwerp in Belgium, Brazil, and the United States are helping to build Hebron. Especially prominent is the noted philanthropist and Lubavitcher Chassid, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Gutnick. With the blessing of the Rebbe, he has become a partner in the extensive Hebron construction enterprise. At Tel Romeda, permanent housing will replace the temporary prefabs. And in other neighborhoods, we hope to construct many new buildings here. The entire marketplace is listed as Jewish-owned in the land registry. Housing dozens of families is planned for the site, enabling a significant increase in the Jewish population. We are also planning to build a neighborhood near Beit Romano with kindergartens, a gymnasium. With God's help, we hope that hundreds of Jews will move to Hebron over the coming years, creating a permanent and eternal reality in this city.
Well, I'm sure we are going to have tough times in the future as we had in the past. But if we did all this way till now, all the public struggle that we had, and Baruch Hashem, thank God, Hebron is now Jewish. There is a Jewish community. Tens of thousands of people come to visit Me'at HaMachpelah and in Hebron in front of us to build Hebron as a good, big Jewish city, and the city of fathers will become the city of sons and daughters.
Hebron, city of the patriarchs and matriarchs. Hebron, today and forever. Hebron, for our ancestors, for our children,